Okay, so this week we are working on comparing and ordering integers. Okay, so last week we were just learning about the absolute value, the distance from zero. We learned about how to even just understand what positives and negatives are. And so now we need to put them in order or compare which one's bigger, which one's smaller. Let's remember one thing when we're comparing. We use our inequality, that's this symbol, okay? And remember that the bigger number gets eaten and the small number gets put on the little side, okay? So just one thing to remember. Okay, so let's take a look at our first question here. So Fairbanks is located in interior Alaska. The average temperature for several months is shown on the thermometer. The average temperature for December is negative 6.5 degrees, very cold. And the average temperature in March is 11 degrees. Still very cold, but a little warmer. So it says label December and March on the thermometer. Okay, so let's come over to the thermometer. Okay. So December was at negative 6.5. So if you look, here's 0 and here's negative 10. So in between 0 and 10 is negative 5. And so negative 6 would be right after that, and then negative 6.5. Okay, so somewhere about here is December. Okay. Then March was at 11 degrees. So 11 degrees is above 0 because it's positive. Okay, so here's 10, and so 11 degrees would be right above that. So here's March. Okay. So now it says, which months have a greater average temperature than February? Okay, well, so here's February at negative 4, and so we want greater temperatures. So greater than that would be November and March. Okay. Which months have a lower temperature than November? So look at November and we want a lower temperature. So now we're going down. So we have February, December, and January. So February, December, and January all have a lower temperature. Complete the inequality to compare the temperature of November and February, okay? So November was 3, so here's November. And we want an inequality that is less than 3, because 3 is on the big side, so we need a smaller number than 3, so now we need to go down. So it could be any of these. It could be negative 4. We could also write it as negative 6.5, or we could write it as negative 10. 3 is greater than any of those, okay? The only one that doesn't work is that 3 is less than March at 11, okay? So that's the only different one. All right, let's turn it over. So when we're comparing integers, you can compare the signs as well as the magnitude or size of the number. Greater numbers are graphed farther to the right, and smaller numbers are graphed farther to the left, okay? So on your number line, if you're going this way, you are greater, and if you're going this way, you are smaller, okay? So you can see that comparing negative 3 and 2. 2 is greater than -3, or -3 is less than 2. Either way, you can write it either way. If you compare these two, right, -3 and -2, okay, -2 is closer that way, so it is greater. So -2 is greater than -3, or -3 is less than -2, okay? So fill in the inequality for the next one, okay? So it tells us to graph, which they did. They put +12 here and -4 here. So because 12 is more to the right, to the greater side, right, then 12 is greater than -4, okay? You could have also said that -4 is less than 12, right? Either way is absolutely correct. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem. So -3 and -5. Now, you could draw a number line. We could look up here, even, okay? Or think of it like money, all right? Would you rather owe somebody $3, or would you rather owe them $5? I think I'd rather owe them 3. So -3 is actually greater because you don't owe them as much. Okay, -5 to 0. All right, so think of it a number line, right? -5's way on the left, 0's in the middle. So that means 0 is greater, or -5 is less than 0. You're owing somebody $5, or you don't owe anybody anything. 6 compared to -1. Okay, if I have $6, $6 in my pocket, or I need to give somebody $1. I don't want to do that. So 6 is better. Okay. All right, so here Justin scored -4 on the Trueville trivia game. Desiree scored -5. Write an inequality to compare the scores. So -4 is actually better than -5. Think of it like money, right? I'd rather owe somebody $4 than I would $5. Okay, so Justin's score was higher. Even though it's still negative, it's higher. Okay. The temperature on Tuesday was 2 degrees. The temperature on Wednesday was -2 degrees. Write an inequality that compares them. So here's +2 and here's -2. Because this is more to the right, these are greater. So that means these are less than or smaller. So 2 is greater than -2, or -2 is less than +2. Either inequality is correct, but I'd rather have $2 than I want to borrow or have to owe somebody $2. Okay? All right, so what happens if we have lots of numbers to deal with? Then we can order our integers. You can use a number line to order a set of integers from least to greatest or greatest to least, okay? So this is either small to big or big to small. Either way can compare. It's important to read the directions because they'll often tell you what they want, okay? So here they show us a list of numbers and they graphed them. So here's -9, +6, -3, and 0. Okay, and then they tell us they want us to put them in order from least to greatest, so from small to big. So remember, the farther you are to the left, you're small. The farther to the right, you're bigger. Okay, so if you're putting them in order, then -9, -3, 0, and ending with +6, small to big. I know it's confusing because you see that 9 and you're like, wait, 9 is bigger than 6. But remember that negative, because this is like you owing money. So you owe somebody $9 or you have $6. Having $6 is much better. Okay? Compare negative numbers, then compare positive numbers. The negative numbers are -9 and -3. So if you think about it just that way, right? -9, that's a lot of money that you owe compared to only owing $3. So -9 is smaller because you've got less of it, okay? 0 is not positive or negative, so it just kind of sits in the center. And then 6 is positive, so it's at the end as our biggest number. Okay, so let's look at a couple more examples. So first thing you want to do is graph them. So -4, that's right here before that -5. Okay, +3, somewhere about there. Right, so this is the -4, this is the +3. +11, that's about here. And then -25. Okay, so now look at the directions though. Greatest to least. So that means they want us to go big to small. So remember, big are over here. So we're starting with the 11. Then we can work our way backwards. So 11, then the 3, then the -4, then the -25. That's why it's important to read the directions. Okay, letter F, let's graph our points. So let's see, -18, +30, +12, -6, and +3. That's right here in between 0 and 6. Okay, then read the directions from least to greatest. So they want us to go with the smallest all the way to the biggest. So now we start at the smallest number, which is the -18, and then work our way up. So -6, 3, 12, and 30. Okay. All right, a few more problems and then you'll be ready to take your little quiz. Okay, so we want to compare our integers. So, like I said, always kind of think of it like money. Would you rather have $17 or would you rather have $31? I think I'd rather have 31. So 31 is greater. It's getting eaten. Okay? -6. Would you rather owe somebody -6 or would you rather owe somebody 10? Okay? So again, because we're talking about owing, right? You're going to want to owe less. So in actuality, -6 is greater than -10 because you owe less money. Okay, -83 or -38. Would you rather owe somebody $83 or would you rather owe them only 38? I'd rather only owe them 38. So that one's actually greater. Andrew and his father are scuba diving at -30 feet, and Tackle Box Canyon has an elevation of -83 feet. Write an inequality to compare the depths. We have -38, and we want to compare it to -83. Okay? So think of it like money, right? Would you rather owe the 38 or owe an 83? I'd rather owe the 38. Okay? So then it says explain the meaning. Okay? Well, if -38 is greater than -83, then you're not at the bottom of the ocean or bottom of the river or wherever he is doing his scuba diving, right? So -38 feet is greater than -83 feet. Okay. The daily low temperatures in Kate's hometown last week were 2, -9, -18, -6, 3, 0, and -7 degrees Celsius. Order the temperatures from least to greatest. Okay. Well, or sorry, not least to greatest. That says greatest to least. Oop, important to read. Okay, so think of it on a number line. All right. So 2, -9, oh, -18 is way over here, -6, +3, +0, and -7. All right, so we want to go greatest to least. That means we're going to start way over here. So we're actually going to start with that +3, then the 2, then the 0, then the -6, the -7, the -9, and the -18. Okay, greatest to least. There's a couple of Connect Ed videos that you should watch as well, and then take the little quiz, all right? But think about it. Which one's greater and which one's less? All right, good job.